Hello everybody, and welcome back to Residence Reviews. Today we're talking about the EarAcoustic Audio Genesis G318s, which is a brand new single dynamic driver from EarAcoustic Audio. They've released a lot of single dynamic IEMs over the past, I guess, 1 or 2 years, and really it's become kind of difficult to keep track of which ones are worth listening to and which ones are not. And in fact, there is a pretty good mix of good and bad in their lineup. I've previously reviewed a number of their offerings, including the SPA Limited Edition, which I really liked, and the VSA Max, which I didn't like so much. However, today, the Genesis G318s represents a shift in their tuning and is really what I would consider to be their flagship warm, smooth, and bassy offering. Now, there's plenty of warm and smooth IEMs out there. What makes this one worth paying attention to? Well, let's get into it. So the Genesis G318s, or I'm just going to call it Genesis for the rest of the video since this is the only Genesis model that's for sale at this point in time, and I don't want to keep saying G318s because I'm going to mess it up and I'm going to have to edit around that, and I don't want to. So the Genesis features all metal shells. It's made out of aluminum, and it features detachable 0.78 millimeter 2-pin cables. The cable that it comes with is a fixed 4.4 millimeter cable, and it's actually quite nice. It also has metal nozzles. Of course it does because it's metal shells, which is nice, meaning that right off the bat, this is an IEM that is designed to last. The Genesis features one custom 8.3 millimeter dynamic driver per side. It has a sensitivity of 100 decibels SPL per milliwatt, making it a little bit less sensitive than your average IEM, and it has an impedance of 38 ohms, which is pretty close to the standard 40 ohms that you usually see for a dynamic driver IEM. Sound-wise, the Genesis is a warm and comfortable IEM with a gently lifted bass region. Well, I guess it's only gentle based on your point of reference, but in fact the Genesis does have plenty of lower register emphasis. It's got enough sub-bass such that it can rumble and roll with electronic music and capture the weight and intensity of a deep drum slam. It's got punchy mid-bass that is fast enough to still sound performant and technically capable. Its lower mid-range is warm but not particularly recessed, and it blends nicely into an upper mid-range that peaks at a hump that is at its highest point around 2 to 3 kilohertz. That rolls down into a fairly linear lower treble with a couple of spikes in the upper treble that aid with instrumental separation and that sense of sparkle and air. Now, it doesn't necessarily go and then shoot up like you would find on a traditional V-shaped IEM. So really, I would say that the Genesis is a warm, mid-focused IEM. Now, EarAcoustic Audio has a mixed record when it comes to tuning for treble. You have them with their excellent VSA PM Crown, their flagship planar IEM with just phenomenally tuned treble. And then you have some less desirable models like the VSA Max, which really is bright and overblown. Given that the Genesis is a warm and not particularly bright or treble forward IEM, you would expect that it would kind of sound recessed and dark, but actually it really doesn't sound particularly dark. And again, that's thanks to careful tuning in the upper treble. This is a very much dynamic driver sounding product. You're not going to have this pretend like it's got ESTs or microplanners or balance armature drivers in the treble. It really doesn't. So it doesn't sound like you would get the timbre that you would get from a hybrid or a tribrid IEM. It's very much like a dynamic driver product. It sounds like you're listening to a pair of speakers, for example, with a nice standard tweeter setup. A feature of the Genesis's treble that I really was not expecting to come through this well is its ability to communicate a sense of space and emptiness. Traditionally, warmer IEMs struggle more on this front, but it really was pretty impressive how well the Genesis was able to stage the echoes and the decay of the guitar in The Funeral by Band of Horses, for example. The Genesis ensured that the edges of the hi-hats and cymbals and snares were distinct and well layered, in spite of the fact that, that's typically a suite of instrumentation that lives beyond the realm of high-level precision from a dynamic driver IEM. The Genesis also did a great job in M83's Midnight City, which is a really highly contrasting track that takes full advantage of some treble-bound electronic synths, and the Genesis did a great job of resolving and texturing those synths and staging them in a way that felt like they were able to pierce through like an empty and black background. The core of the Genesis's charm really comes from its sound signature's excellently tuned mid-range. EarAcoustic Audio was able to balance the warmth of its lower mid-range against the Genesis's upper mid-range peak and tune it such that it's cohesive but still expressive and organic. Consequently, the Genesis features strong vocal intelligibility without compromising so much on vocal weight, which is sometimes the trade that you have to make depending on the style of tuning. Listening to grungy lo-fi styles like, for example, the music of the Black Keys reinforces the Genesis's, analog style, tube amp style tuning. The pairing there is unnervingly good. The Genesis captures swaths of texture and timbral nuance while distilling the band's signature fat bass lines into well-controlled doses of body. The Genesis never steps beyond its capabilities, devolving into a blurry mess, which really goes to show the technical capabilities of this relatively small 8.3mm dynamic driver. And if you've heard or read or seen my thoughts about the SPA limited edition, which is one of the other EarAcoustic Audio models, you'll know that they really do know how to build a technically impressive dynamic driver. Some of us still do like bass. I know that the meta really is just like pretending that mid bass isn't real and that all you need to do to capture detail is to scoop out the mid bass and just slam up the sub bass. Well, I don't really like that style of tuning. The Genesis bucks that trend and it returns to form, really just embracing the fact that warmth and weight and rumble are fun and, in certain cases, necessary aspects of enjoying listening to your music. I really do like the texture and the control that comes from the Genesis's sub bass. It is able to communicate a wide variety of textures by, I guess, embracing the quickness of the driver. The mid bass is also quite punchy. If you listen to electronic music, you'll actually feel the movement of the air across the drivers as a giant bass drop comes in, it slams its way through. Listen to Gold Dust by DJ Fresh for an example of a track that pairs really nicely with the Genesis's bass. If you're not listening to electronic music, it still does quite well in faster, more technical genres like metal, alternative, hard rock, for example. It works very well across a wide variety of those genres. Now let's talk build quality. I have the Genesis right here. This is the carrying case that it comes in. It's got a faux leather coating and it's actually a semi-hard case that has a pretty good zipper. I don't have any real complaints over it. So the Genesis, as I mentioned earlier, has metal shells. This makes it a little bit heavier than the average IEM that you'll find with a single dynamic driver, but actually it's for good cause, and the Genesis really looks as though it's built very, very well. It feels as though it's built very, very well. It's sturdy without being overwhelming. The Genesis has a detachable cable. Again, as I mentioned, it's a 0.78mm 2-pin cable, and it is a nylon sleeved or cloth sleeved cable. It's not one of those plastic coated SPC simple twist braids that you'll find. Instead, you get a coated cloth twist braid. It's the same geometry as you'll find on like the SPA limited edition or the VSA Max or something like that. So the geometry is the same, but the outer coating is actually going to be nylon or cloth instead. And I gotta say, this isn't exactly my favorite cable. It's not bad or anything, like it's not made poorly, but I do actually like the very soft, very supple plastic coated cables that you'll find on some of their other models. This one also has the drawback of, since it's cloth coated, it conducts a lot of noise. So for example, this jacket, if I'm wearing this jacket and I have the cable right here and it rubs against like the zipper or something, I can hear that in the IEM. It's kind of annoying. So, but as long as you have, a setup where you have just a regular cloth shirt or something, it's not such a big. Now in terms of accessories, inside the box, you'll find this case that I showed you earlier. You get a single 4.4mm cable, that's the one that I showed you as well, and you'll get 6 pairs of silicone ear tips. For $250, this is really not the best accessory package I've found. You know, the $99 Defiant comes with a case as well, a little bit smaller one, but it comes with more ear tips, it comes with foam ear tips, it's got little goodies inside. I don't care so much for the goodies, but the foam ear tips would have been very nice. Thankfully, EarAcoustic Audio has included a pair of silicone ear tips that are better than the weird stock ones that come with many of their other models that I can't even use at all. At least their new red core spiral ear tips fit me reasonably well. I do prefer some of the ones that you'll get from other Chi-Fi brands like ZiiGaat, for example. Their clear silicone ear tips are very nice. It would have been great if those were included here, but honestly, even if they're not, foam would have been good too. All right, now let's talk some very brief comparisons. If you'd like to read my full-length comparisons or request more, you can do so by checking out the link for my full-length written review in the description. Again, if you would like some comparisons, as I mentioned in my review, you can just leave a comment wherever. You can hit me up on HeadFi, you can find me in the YouTube comments here, you can find some of my posts on Reddit. Wherever it is that you'd like to request a comparison, feel free to do so. Direct message, doesn't matter. I'll try my best to do it for you if I possibly can. And with that, let's get into the SPA-LE, another EarAcoustic Audio single dynamic driver IEM. This one costs $429, making it almost double the price of the Genesis. And this one comes with a larger, I think it's 11.4mm dynamic driver, and it's right out the gate, it's the technically superior IEM. It's got a gently V-shaped sound signature that is more focused on technicality, and the quickness, the sheer quickness and correctness of the SPA-LE's dynamic driver is very, very, very difficult to beat, especially if you're, if you have a warmer, bassier, less treble forward sound signature. I mean, really the Genesis prioritizes those analog vibes and that sense of comfort and richness over technicality, and you can even see that in the driver choice. So the SPA-LE is the more expensive, more performant option. Sure, it is definitely better in terms of technical abilities for critical listening, and it still does have enough bass and warmth to be usable for casual listening, but really it's not going to give you the fun, the punch, the rumble that you get from the Genesis. It's not going to capture the soul of a tube amplifier's warmth the way that the Genesis kind of does. So between the two, if I have to choose one for casual listening, I am choosing the Genesis. I like rumble, I like punch, I like bass, and I think that the Genesis is sufficiently technical to be worth listening to for an audiophile, while still maintaining that sense of fun and balance. Now, if I were to be doing actual critical listening, I'm going to be choosing the SPA Limited Edition. No questions asked. Yes, it's more expensive, but I think that it's worth it for one of the best technical experiences you can have from a single dynamic driver IEM. Now let's compare to the ZiiGaat Odyssey 2. This is a metal-shelled hybrid IEM featuring 4 drivers per side. This is another warm-tilted, mid-centric IEM with a relatively gentle upper register. I really, really like the Odyssey 2. I really do. And I think that they're fairly evenly matched when it comes to build quality. The Odyssey 2 uses, I would consider, a bit of a less expensive manufacturing method, but at the end of the day, you're not really getting a cheap feeling or unpremium product no matter which IEM you go with. I think that the Odyssey 2 does have a bit better of an accessory package with a larger, more practical case. It also does have better ear tips. That said, I think that the Odyssey 2 has a really thin feeling cable, and I don't like the modular termination on it. I think it's large and cumbersome, and it's held on by friction. I think that the fixed 4.4mm cable that comes with the Genesis, while not my favorite cable that they sell, is still better than the one that comes with the Odyssey 2, if you care about that sort of thing. Sound-wise, the Odyssey 2 and the Genesis really aren't that far apart. Both are warm, bass-friendly IEMs that have safe, comfortable upper registers. That said, the Odyssey 2 has a more pronounced upper mid-range, with vocals that appear further forward in the mix and on the soundstage. The Odyssey 2 has less mid-bass and a slight decrease in sub-bass, and the Genesis is a little bit warmer and has a very slight decrease in microtexturing for treble-bound elements. The Odyssey 2's less warm, less bassy sound signature with a more forward upper mid-range comes across as sounding a bit cleaner. And again, that's just because it doesn't have the same amount of warmth in the lower register that the Genesis does. Now, if I have to choose between them, that's very difficult. I really do like the Odyssey 2's balance of technical abilities and fun and warmth and comfort. But I also really do like the extra dose of fun that you get with the Genesis. Honestly, I'm not really sure you can go wrong with either of these choices. If really bass is the deciding factor, then you're probably going to be going with the Genesis. If you are more focused on ensuring that you get the optimal mix of enjoyability and fun and comfort while still maintaining some of that more precise timbre that you get from a bounce armature-based hybrid, then you'll probably just go with the Odyssey 2. Now for my conclusion. The Genesis is a beautiful metal IEM that executes its warm and bassy sound signature with aplomb. EarAcoustic Audio really knows their way around a dynamic driver, and their new 8.3mm driver, it's plenty performant. Bass lovers like me will love the fact that the Genesis is unapologetically bassy. It's got plenty of mid-bass punch, it's got plenty of sub-bass rumble, and that it does so without really compromising on its general technicality and its general level of performance. Now, who's this product for and who's this product not for? Well, it's for those that enjoy warm, mid-centric sound signatures with enough treble to avoid sounding dark. It's for audiophiles that demand weight from their music, not just detail. It's for bass lovers that care about bass quality, not just bass quantity. It's for lo-fi enjoyers, since it pairs very, very well with that genre and that style of mastering. And it's for dynamic driver enthusiasts. If you love the way a dynamic driver sounds, this IEM sounds the way a dynamic driver should sound. Now, who is this not for? It's not for treble lovers. Even though this isn't a dark IEM, it's not a bright IEM, and it's not going to be bright enough for you. It's not for those that are seeking traditional V-shaped sound signatures. As I mentioned, it has the bass, but it doesn't have the treble. It's not for those who are averse to a warm mid-range. It's really just, that's what it's going for. It's going for warmth. It's not for those seeking maximum price to performance. Again, if you're just looking for the cheapest possible IEM for critical listening that'll pull the most details and present them the most obviously, this style of tuning generally isn't going to be what you're looking for. It's not for meta chasers. This signature doesn't fit in with the meta. And it's not for listeners seeking a reference sound signature. This is nowhere near reference. It's warm and bassy and fun. And with that, I would like to thank you very much for spending some time with me and listening to my thoughts about the EarAcoustic Audio Genesis G318s. I hope I said that right, because I'm not editing it if I said it wrong. And with that, as always, happy listening.